I cannot tell you how proud I am of what Rob Bonta is saying. It has done here by creating this portal, oag.ca.gov, report misconduct. This should be done in every state and in every city and in every town. It's been a while to get to this point, for people to have websites where they're just filling out what exactly what ICE is doing that is illegal, their behaviors or whatever, these federal agents. And the reason why the states have to do this, why it's taken a while to get to this point, is because the states are not supposed to have to think about this. They're not supposed to worry about this. And the reason why they are not is because the Department of Justice's website, and you can even go justice.gov c/crt /deprivation rights under color law. It is the responsibility of the Department of Justice to make certain that federal law enforcement and the leadership of all federal law enforcement, to remind them about 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. It is extremely important to understand this, because this law is literally just one paragraph long. This is it, 18 U.S.C. 242. Let me read this to you. Whoever under color of law, ordinance, or registration or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, Commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any right, privilege, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results of the act committed, the violation of this section, or if such acts include the use or attempted use of the threat of use of dangerous weapons, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. And if death results from this act committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping, that's the big word, ICE, kidnapping, or attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or attempting to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or attempt to kill, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for any term of years or life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. Do you get that, ICE? Do you get that? Trump, federal agents, Congress? What ICE is doing and what federal agents are doing is they are being failed to the responsibility of their command. They're being failed by the responsibility of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. And yes, this is even on the FBI's website. This is on every federal agent's website. Why? Because they need to be reminded that you are supposed to stay way within the Constitution in the performance of your duty, and you can literally spend the rest of your life in prison as a federal agent, or even be sentenced to death if you really take it to the extreme. But the Department of Justice and the leadership of a lot of federal agencies are not telling those people, stay within the confines of deprivation of rights under color of law. Respect everyone's constitutional rights, and it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter, literally, if they're convicted felons or whatever the hell you want to apply, illegal immigrants. It doesn't freaking matter. You must stay within the confines of the Constitution at all times, because that doesn't put the convict in jail. it puts you in trouble, because if you violate the constitutional rights of people you're trying to put in jail, guess what? That person can go free, because the evidence and the stuff that you gather can be thrown out of court because you're violating the Constitution, and then the Fed is supposed to hold you accountable if you do that. And they are supposed to be telling you not to do these things well beforehand. But you're being told to be a bully. And because you're being a bully, now let's just say that, now let's just take this thing. Let's say that what is happening, right? That ICE is violating the constitutional rights of citizens and non-citizens and people within the United States. What happens if this doesn't happen? There is actually a rule. Bivens actions. If the Department of Justice fails to perform its duty, this is the outcome. Bivens actions are to seek damages, money, to sue that federal agency that is violating people's rights, because it's basically when the Department of Justice refuses to do its duty and train those federal officers to stay inside of the confines of the Constitution. In other words, do not follow illegal orders. Then comes Bivens actions, where you sue people for violating constitutional rights. So these are the two things you have when federal agencies are violating people's rights, or unconstitutional orders or illegal orders are being given. They are supposed to either, one, enforce it by the Department of Justice enforcing deprivation of rights under color of law, and if that doesn't work, Bivens actions, which is a civil matter, and that's when you come here to oag.ca.gov, report misconduct. This is a really easy form to follow. So members of the public can use this form to report submitting video footage, other things of the misconduct. This is about sending that information to these agencies. It's a very simple form to follow as you come down. Please contact you in whatever forms, right? Your phone number, email address, confirm your email address, full name, address, your address, the city, obviously if it's the state, is the state of California, zip code, are you submitting this complaint on behalf of someone else? If you have an attorney representing, please provide their names and information. This is really important because, yeah, it would be ideal that if you're filling out this form, some people don't have the resources or don't go get people who would be attorneys, but that's okay. But usually people who probably have attorneys are going to probably get a little bit more attention than others. And the reason why that is because they know if you have an attorney, that attorney is looking at Bivens actions, and therefore you will get probably more attention. So you include also the details of the incident, the nature of the incident. Were you physically present during the incident? Please describe what happened. 2,000 characters. With 2,000 characters. Was anyone injured? When and where did this happen? The location, intersection or landmarks, date, other complaints and illegal actions. They may complete with any government agency or filed illegal actions in a courtroom. In other words, whether or not you did a Bivens action. Was any other law enforcement present? In other words, are there other witnesses? Are you aware of any police report filed on the matter? Photo submission, do you have photos of the incident? Video submission, and there you go. And then you send it. This is very important. You really should be doing this. I go to a mental health program twice a week. And I know a lot of Latinos that are there. And they are frustrated. They are terrified. Their conditions are horrifically being, skyrocketing. Because they see what ICE is doing in their neighborhoods. They see what ICE is doing, and they're shown what ICE is doing. And it takes people who might have like a little bit of who may have a paranoid condition, is now amplified by a factor of 50 because they see this. And then they need to do something. What you do is you fill out this form. And when you're filling out this form and you're creating the police report, never forget that when the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice or those federal agents fail to remind those federal agents that they must follow 18 U.S.C. 242, literally no matter what their commanders say. This is about you do not follow illegal orders. You as law enforcement do not carry out orders that violate the civil rights of anyone in this country, period, and every single person has rights. You are expected as a federal law enforcement agent to know this. You are expected to know this. You are expected to know when to say no. So there is no excuse that your commander gave you the order. You must follow 18 U.S.C. 242. And if your leadership fails to do that, you get sued. You get it? Please like and share this. Please tell everyone that you know that's out there following people to lobby your state to develop this, or your city even to develop this. That your city, for your state or whatever, to take this form that you see under aog.ca.gov, report misconduct. This similar form should be placed at your local city. It should be placed at your state's Department of Justice, your state's Attorney General. This should be there. You should be tracking this, and either your local town or your state should be tracking this. And if they don't, just remind them, find a lawyer who will do Bivens actions on behalf of your people, because that will force ICE to stay inside the rule of law and follow the constitutional rights of everyone they grab. So please like, share, and subscribe, or whatever, and get this out. Get it out that federal agents are going to be compelled to follow the Constitution, and they are going to be compelled by either facing criminal actions in those states, or they're going to get sued, or one day the Attorney General will not be Pam Bondi, or the state attorney, or the state's U.S. the U.S. Attorney General of that state, that U.S. Attorney of that state will choose to follow their responsibilities in these matters, to remind those federal agents, you will follow 18 U.S.C. 242, you will adhere to deprivation of rights under color of law, and I don't care who above you is saying anything. You will honor the Constitution as a federal agent, and if not, you will be removed from your job. There you go. Thank you very much, California. Goddamn, I love my state.